Hi everybody and welcome to the Navigate skill week. We're in week 2 and the Navigate skill has 13 quests associated with it. On the bright side, we're not asking you to do anything else related to stipend paperwork or introducing yourself or completing a survey. We're sparing you all of those other torments. So hopefully you can focus on these things and get them done. So we've got the 13 quests, and then you notice that there's 4 capstone exercises. These are the things that the evaluator will look at and evaluate. These other things are supportive activities that help you to understand the capstone. If you didn't do these supportive activities, then you may not understand the verbiage, what the capstone's even asking you to do. So it's important that you go through these and you give them a shot and you kind of think about how do the concepts in these quests relate to my situation as a teacher in an increasingly blended learning context, possibly, or if that's the way you design your classroom, and certainly it would be increasingly blended. It sort of depends on what you decide to do with it. But I know in Cobb County, you guys have more opportunities to deliver things in a blended format. You're trying to move towards flipped learning, which basically means that your classroom is partly face-to-face and it has the potential to be partly online, whether it's online in the school building or it's online even beyond the school day. So you are an increasingly online school district, even in your face-to-face offerings. And then, of course, that still depends on what the teacher decides to do, what you're deciding to do. But give these concepts a fair shake. Try to make sure you relate them to your blended learning context. If you see the word online, just remember your classes, the idea here is that your classes are partly online now, that they're at least moving that way, or they could be. So that's the way you want to interpret it, I would say, is in the context of what you do. The quest 3.1.2, I want to talk to you about a couple specific quests. 3.1.2 could be very challenging if you let it. And so I want you to not let it. And so what I'm going to do for this particular quest is I'm actually going to go through the process. I'm going to actually model this through a video. And that video will be over here in the sandbox area. Sandbox means this is where you can mess around with tools. And so I may rename it, but it'll say Trial LMS, and it may say Navigate 3.1.2. So I may rename that, okay? But it'll be right there, Trial LMS 3.1.2. And I'm going to model the steps because what you're asked to do in this particular quest is a little bit, just a wee bit insane, in my opinion. You're expected to expected to gain access to a learning management system, which you have through Blackboard. And you have to create a course. And that's not something that you have power to do very quickly through your Cobb Blackboard thing membership. You have to ask an administrator to help you do that. So I think a better way to handle this, rather than involving our Cobb administrators and having them build us a course, is to actually just use a free option on the outside, such as Blackboard course sites. So course sites is the free version of Blackboard that you could play around with, and it works exactly like your version does. My apologies if my train of thought is a little disjointed here. I just had an interruption, had to pause for 3 minutes. All right, so we have these free versions of learning management systems. As I was saying, Blackboard is the one that you use at Cobb. I think it's really important that you guys learn how to use Blackboard and that you kind of becoming familiar with the way it works a little bit. So I think it's appropriate that you use Blackboard for this exercise that you're being asked to do. Canvas is also a really awesome, easy to use tool, and you can go get a Canvas login and try that if you want. Okay, so what is this quest about? And then I'll try to go back and quickly tell you what I'm going to provide for you. In this quest, let's look at this right here. Okay, so you have to join a learning management system. You have to gain access to a learning management system. And because the administrators at Cobb actually control your learning management system, and you actually have to get permission have them create you a course. I think it's easiest if you have control, and that's why we're going to use the free version. The course sites is what I recommend. So if you gain access to a learning management system, you have to create a course shell. A course shell is just sort of an empty course and then you eventually load content into that empty course. So you have to create a course, basically. You don't have to create a course, though. That's something I need you to understand. You are not actually building a course at all. They just kind of want you to understand the basics of what a course shell is and then how you can load content into it, okay? They want you to be aware of the types of tools that are in that learning management system, okay? So you can just click around. You can even just click around our Blackboard site, and you can learn about some of the tools that are available, although I don't have all of the tools available. And then you have to select content to upload into the course shell. And while that content loads, you're supposed to note the steps completed to fully load the package. So basically, you can tell the story of how do you, once you've created a course shell, how do you load content into it? How do you load a package into it? You know, what are the basic steps? And the steps are very similar for different learning management systems. I do not think you need to detail every nitpicky little step, particularly because this is not a capstone activity and the evaluators are not going to be looking at this. So what I recommend that you do, you're welcome to try everything I'm going to show you. You're welcome to try this, of course. I'm not trying to stop you from doing that. But I also want you to understand that I did this quest in 3 different learning management systems today. I did it in Canvas, I did it in Blackboard, and I did it in D2L. And there were error messages with the process, and it didn't work. The previous Phoebe, who's also helping to facilitate this course, she had errors with this particular quest as well, which means let's save you guys time, and let's not force you to go through this tedious process only to get error messages and feel frustrated and like a failure. You can do that if you're curious about it and you want to try it, but what you can do instead is you can lurk over my shoulder. And so I'm going to actually make a separate video. I'll try to keep it down to 10 minutes. I'm going to show you the exact process they're telling you to do. I'll even show you, I have some Blackboard instructions on how you upload content into Blackboard. We'll follow those to the T, and then we'll probably get our error message. So you'll get to see that process. The other thing I'll do in that video is I'll actually show you how it works in the learning management system that I use at University of West Georgia. We use Desire to Learn. And I'll show you how easy it is to go from, like, let's say I have a new course shell, just like what they're talking about here. And I'm going to teach in fall, for example. And so actually that's what I'll do. I'll use my fall course shell, and I will load my summer class into it so that you can see how it works. And I think that would be a great example of a process where you could explain, how does this work? How do you load content in? The other thing I wanted to tell you was to spare you the time that it takes to get a new Blackboard login, because remember I said we should try to play with this in Blackboard course sites. I'm going to actually share a Blackboard login with you so that you can poke around and play with it and not worry about having to get your own Blackboard login. And you're not going to make anything explode. So everybody can go in and use the same login, and you can try to create new courses and play around in them and import things and create pages and things like that. So you have access to everything. But what I'm trying to do is save you time while still supporting you to understand the concept that is behind this quest. And that's what's important. You get the concept. The basic concept is that you can download content from a course. For example, this is my online course that I teach. I can download content. So this course has content inside these different session modules. I can download the content from this one, and then I can upload it into another section. That's really the basic idea that they're trying to teach you through that particular quest. And so I'm trying to support you, but save you time. Okay, so that information will be located here at the Trial LMS link. I'll probably add, like I may have said a few minutes ago, I'll add Navigate 3.1.2 to that title, just to be really clear that page is there to support you with the 3.1.2. The other thing that I've got for you guys is this in the sandbox area is this page. I've created Blackboard Collaborate lounges. Now you guys do have the power to do that yourselves, but I don't have the know-how. I don't have the ability to know exactly how you do it. So if you want to know exactly how you make a Blackboard Collaborate synchronous meeting room through your COB login, then we need to work on that. You need to let me know if you need some help. We can talk with the folks that run your LMS and make sure that we have the right instructions. Because how it works is different at different institutions. It depends on how they've integrated it with Blackboard. But you do have the ability, and I know that several of you already have Blackboard Collaborate rooms. But I went ahead and made 5 rooms, and they have a multitude of links associated with them. The moderator link is the link for the person who runs the meeting. So again, Blackboard Collaborate's an online meeting tool. The moderator link is the one you go into the room through. So you click it, you run the Java download tool file, and then it eventually opens up the room, but you have to approve some things. The guest link is the one you give your friends, but really for the activity, for this navigate skill, you probably don't even need to bother inviting a guest. So you're going to be all by yourself running an online meeting with nobody, but just playing around. I mean, you can try to upload a PowerPoint in, you can try to record your session if you want, and then if you do record the session, the recording links go into a table. So each room has its own recording link table. So if you've recorded the session, you have to hit record at the beginning, and then you have to hit stop the recording at the end, and then maybe within 5 or 10 minutes, that file actually appears here, and then it can be watched through the Blackboard Collaborate Java-based application. So there's 5 rooms, so that if out of the 16 folks, if people are playing, hopefully there's one that's available. And heck, if you go in, you might find somebody's playing in one, and you can play together and present to each other. I think that's actually a really good idea if that happens. Or you could probably meet online and with somebody else and share, take turns. You can actually intentionally play in these rooms together. Okay. And the quest that this is tied to is 2.1.2. It's the recorded session quest. They basically want you to get the experience of playing around with the synchronous meeting tool, but notice it's not a capstone. So give it the time it's owed. Give it the 30 to 40 minutes and then move on. Okay? All right. So let me know what kind of questions you guys have. You can post those in the discussion board. That is over here. My internet's a little bit slow, but the one that's about general questions, not the introductory board, but the other one. This one. The comments, questions, etc. board. If you need an online meeting this week to go through this, I'd be happy to meet with you guys. Just let me know. For me this week, during week 2, my meeting times are best Thursday through Sunday because I'm in Jekyll Island. And I'm going to try to finish my dissertation on Monday. I may crawl over into Tuesday. Hopefully I don't, but I'm really going to try to not do anything related to this course tomorrow, Monday. And then Wednesday I have to drive back from Jekyll, so that's a little bit of a hard day, but you're always welcome to call me. Okay? And certainly email me outside the course if you feel like you get a quick response from that as well. But remember, in all things, how do we use this information to make what we do in our middle grade science class in the fall better? So maybe there could be 2 takeaways that are really important for you from this whole skill. But I think that a lot of the concepts, even though sometimes you might feel like these concepts don't relate to what I do, they really do. They empower you. They let you know how this environment works. I really don't think that it's good for teachers to be terribly in the dark on how the world works. And unfortunately, for better or worse, the world that we teach in now is technology enhanced, it's technology, sometimes it's technology controlled, and that can be unpleasant. But the more you know, the better able you are to make decisions for your classroom, for your school, for your district, depending on how much of a leadership position you like to have. It can only empower you and make you stronger. Even though some of it, I know some of it's a little dry. But the question is, what are the 2 or 3 takeaways that you can get from each skill area? And at the end of all of this, the question becomes, what is the goal that you can set for the fall? Something that you want to try in your classroom, something related to the use of technology, Maybe something related to BYOD in your classroom. Maybe you want to use a polling app like Socrative with the BYOD. Maybe you want to have some online synchronous sessions with parents, informational sessions in the evening when they're able to tune in through their smartphone using the Blackboard Collaborate app. I mean, think about something you want to do in the fall, okay? All right, so I am rambling, and I'm going to stop because you don't have a lot of time, do you? All right, y'all have fun with Navigate skill.